Welcome back to this here Robby Gordon season mode. The current standings have me above Matt Kenseth by 131 points as we've won 11 of 12 races. So looking a little bit one-sided. But anyway, Matt Kenseth second in the point standings, Martin Truex Jr. third, Jimmy Johnson fourth, Greg Biffle fifth, Paul Menard in sixth, Brad Keselowski seventh, Travis Pastrana still in eighth position, tied with Dale Jr. for that spot. But then here's the real kicker. Danica Patrick, 10th in points. Last two finishes, second and third. She's coming on strong as we approach the summer months. Could be a threat for the championship, you never know. And then, you got Dennis and Jeff Gordon currently sitting 11th and 12th. But right now, there's no one able to take advantage of wild card spots because you have to be 11th through 20th to claim a wild card spot. And right now, the only other winner other than myself is David Reagan. He's down 29th. So he's got to get a lot of points to be able to use that win as a means of making it in. Oh, and NASCAR got real spicy last time out with Travis Kvapil getting a top 15 and Joe Nemechek finishing dead last. They're now tied up for the last position. Something to keep your eyes on there. Joe Nemechek actually led the 600 within the final 20 laps, but still finished dead last. I really don't know how he did that. So anyway, today we move on to Dover International Speedway, what is now called Dover Motor Speedway because SMI bought it. Odds are we're going to have a really good run in this one. This is one of the easier tracks, admittedly, so this race is probably going to turn into a bit more of a podcast for the viewer.
Now's a good time to get in a few laps and see how the cars are running before qualifying.
Yeah, I've got a custom setup. Are you surprised at all? You shouldn't be.
The further up the field you are, the less cars you have to pass during the race. So go earn yourself a good spot in the pack.
All right, so I really can't give you a prediction of where we're going to start because not quite sure if this is a pole-winning setup. I know it's a race-winning setup, but I didn't work on any for this qualifying run. So let's see what it's capable of when everybody else is trimmed out and everything. Actually, you wouldn't want to be trimmed out. You'd want to have a lot of drag at this place. A lot of downforce, but you get the gist. Everybody's got their qualifying set up. That wall got close real fast.
Go, man. You know what you got. Keep an eye on that pole position.
I don't think I can get into the 21s. I don't think that's going to happen. Because that's actually a really, really fast time out of Kyle. There we go, missed the bottom. And one lap's all I'm going to have.
That's one down. Come on, push that pace.
Yeah.
One more time. Here we go.
So we're going to be starting 15th. Not good, not bad. The setup, though, I mean, it's got all the pace in the world to go and win the race, so not really too worried about starting position.
Not bad. Top 20 gives us a good chance to make up ground on race day quickly.
Not a very good starting spot, not a very bad one. I outqualified Travis. At least I can say that. It was only by 200ths, which is still pretty embarrassing, but still. So Kyle Busch sets on the pole, Jeff Gordon second. I called my shot by saying that there was no way I was going to be able to get sub 22 seconds. I was right about that. I was close. 22-12, but there wasn't any chance I was going to get down the 21s. And Joe Nemechek dead last, putting the pressure on Travis Kvapil in that NASCAR title.
Give it everything you've got out there, and you could end the day in victory lane. Good luck, buddy.
Welcome to the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware for Fox Sports coverage of the FedEx 400 benefiting Autism Speeds. With Darrell Waltrip, I'm Mike Joy.
Mike, they call this place the Concrete Canyon. They call it Miles the Monster. They got a big statue out front of old Miles. You know why he's out there? Because he will reach out and grab you, baby. This place is tough. It's concrete. It's a tough race.
Darrell, you run the bottom of the corner. It's a long way to that hard wall up top.
Yeah, and the straightaways, we call this a self-cleaning racetrack because the straightaways are banked a lot, too. If you get in trouble, down the hill you go into that inside retaining wall.
It's a tough place to survive for 400 miles.
Did you notice Tony Stewart rolling back? Wonder if he's going to start with rear end damage. Rolls all the way back into the wall, All right, Monster Mile time.
Hey, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Look, man, nothing over the top today. Got a great car, great driver, and great pit crew.
I think I'm finally over the game showing me the wrong way thing.
Over here outside.
I've finally gotten to the point where I'm just accustomed to it. We're going 3 wide, by the way.
Car outside, at your door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Looking low. 3 wide, 2 outside.
All right, nobody died. Fair game. And I now understand that the inside is a death trap.
Nice pass.
Oh, man, Juan.
There's your next victim.
Man, it
right
seems like
there.
me and Juan, like, we wreck each other each and every week, but we still love each other. You know? I think it's because we're literally like two peas in a pod when it comes to driving style.
We got this, buddy.
A fuse about as short as a gnat, but an immense passion for what we do. There we go.
Far outside you.
Threading needles and splitting hairs with that one. That was a slide job I just pulled on Ricky.
Side's clear.
Oh, and by the way, still the fastest lap.
Car inside at your door.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, this track's a lot like Martinsville in the sense that the AIs are really good in qualifying. Don't you dare brake check on entry.
Stay on the bottom.
You're going to get the boot.
Coming on the high side.
But
Side's clear.
anyway, what was I even talking about? Speed difference from qualifying to race. AI car's really fast in qualifying. Couldn't keep up with him. In the race, I guarantee you the AIs will not set a single lap inside the 22-second bracket. I'm taking a fair
Looking great.
guess as I pull an awesome slide job on Jeff Gordon. That once again made me forget what I was talking about.
Still the
Fastest
car out
lap.
there. Come on, man. Make it count.
This is why I didn't want to do a series on F1, because every moment driving an F1 car takes that much focus. And so every time I'd start to open my mouth and start saying something, I would immediately forget what I was talking about completely. Like there'd be nothing left of that memory. It would just be erased by like the power of trying to get through a corner in F1 while simultaneously dealing with the effects of dirty air off another F1 car and trying to gauge whether or not overtake should be on in the center of that corner and understanding how the run off the corner should be managed
Much faster.
as to get an appropriate run down the straightaway into potentially a DRS zone where you'd have to make the move without entirely wrecking your car coming into that corner. It's too much for me to process with my dumb NASCAR brain.
Doing great. Nice and steady. Second place is way back.
They are way back. I mean, Jeff Gordon's already like 3 seconds back. By the way, some render distance action. See that going on with that NASCAR.com logo on that semi-truck? I don't think there's any render distance options in this game. I had to pull back there. So now I'm going to start saving some gas just so I can extend my window a little longer. Because I'd love to make this whole race happen on just one stop. You know, come in at lap 40 and be good to make it all the way to the end. So I'm going to start saving now since I've got a good enough advantage to do so. Because if you're going to try to pull a fuel strategy, you can't just decide to do it in the last 10 laps of a run. You've got to commit to it really, really early. You can't capture magic in a bottle, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make it happen over time. Clip the apron, that de-wedged it. I had enough space from me to the wall, though, to where I didn't end up killing the right side of the car. Because I do want to mention, even though it doesn't DNF the car to slam the wall really hard, and, you know, you have to slam it like excessively, cartoonishly hard, in fact, to blow a right front tire, it does knock some tightness into the car when you manage to slap the wall as hard as you can do at a place like Dover. So you don't want to do it just so you keep some turn in the center. Dover's all about that whole double apex rhythm. Because you see, you corner in, you apex once, the car slides up the track, then you apex again. Corners look simple, you know, from an overhead view of the track. It looks like you just, you know, turn it left and let it go like Bristol, but this place has some real interesting double apex characteristics that are hard to figure out. You know, in a place like Dover, you legitimately have 4 distinct corners, even though it looks like you absolutely don't. There is Mr. Joe Nemechek. I shall take this opportunity to save gas, because he kind of determined my lifting point. Ooh, yeah, that thing cut so well I clipped the apron. There we go.
We're on the low side.
Hoping to see a very long run in this race. At least it'd be cool to see, because we had one at Charlotte before I started to screw up, so I'd like to recover my losses by getting some long runs here at Dover. And also, I went through the footage just a little bit, some of the replay footage. in that Charlotte race. And Regan Smith did bobble just a little bit coming into 3 and, slid up into me before I pretty much took him out. But that shifts some of the blame over to him. Still, I probably shouldn't have cut him that close, but he also should have been able to hold the bottom, especially with the leader coming. So, Jeff Gordon, he got knocked out of the chase grid by Danica over the course of the last couple races. So it'd be really critical for him if he can actually finish where he's running right now. Get back up into that chase grid and actually have a shot at it. Imagine, though, if we get a championship chase grid that includes, obviously I'm going to be in it, so that's Robby Gordon for fun point number 1. But then fun point number 2 and 3 would be if we could get Travis Pastrana and Danica up in this. Now that would be some fun. It's like a scrub cup already. We might even be able to actually get Casey Mears up into the chase. And if David Reagan can make top 20, that'd put him into it as well. So we got a chance at making at least half the chase grid all stupid drivers, which is great. You notice I'm lifting off halfway down the straightaway. I'm saving quite a bit of gas while I'm doing this, but at the same time, I'm still gapping Jeff Gordon, and I doubt him saving any, so that shows you how hooked up this car is. But I'm still going for the strategy of wanting to only pit once, just because that'd be really cool. Because if you don't play your strategy right, you could turn this accidentally into a 2-stop race, and nobody wants a 2-stop if you could make a 1-stop. Unless you're at a track where tires matter so much. Like Atlanta, let's say if back in this era, it's a lot different now, obviously, but if you'd have to make a 2-stopper as compared to a 1 at Atlanta, you'd gain so much time on the new set of tires to where the 2-stop would be critical. But in the modern day, 1-stop is kind of the way you'd want to go at Atlanta, because of it being a super speedway and hard to pass at the same time, so you'd want the track position. But, any track where track position is critical, you want to stop as little times as possible. But, that's the strategy I'm employing here. That's why I only want to pit once. But somebody's probably going to try and employ a 2-stopper, and that's just not the position I want to be in. And that's the first car hitting the pits. Obviously got no idea who it is, but we got more of them too. A lot of back markers coming in early, I guess going for a short pit. But you see, the problem with that is if you're averaging a pit stop every 30 laps, that means you're going to have to pit on lap 60 again. So that's not good, for a strategy actually trying to win this thing if we go caution-free. I'd rather just pit lap 40 and be done with it. Yeah, this is pretty much where most of the field's pitting. This is the hill they die on. That ain't the strategy that's going to win this thing. Yeah, even Jeff Gordon pitted. So now we got a 10-second advantage. I'm a little bit concerned how coming on pit road works at this place, because this track does not have a very easy pit road to get onto. And now Stewart's pitted. There's Danica, I think. Well, no, I'm colorblind. That's Jimmy Johnson still in the Sprint Unlimited car. And by the way, when I say I'm colorblind, don't take offense to that. I literally am red-green colorblind. So I can't see green is the best way to put it. So sometimes I see a yellow thing and it just appears to be green. So don't take any literal offense to that. I actually do have that condition. All right, there we go. Everybody's pitted except for us. We've put all the way up to second, which is Greg Biffle, a lap down. And I'm still going to go quite a few more laps. Because really, I'm still lapping this place pretty efficiently.
Move down low.
I just had to pull a slick move on Travis to get in front of him. But let's see what my lap times still are, because I'm trying to save gas. I'm also running pretty decent. 23:24. Only dropped off by about half a second over the course of this run, so actually doing pretty good. Wear isn't a very big factor. There's Joe Nemechek blocking the field for me. And now we got a 2-lap advantage above Jeff Gordon, so I feel pretty comfortable about that. Travis, go on by. If you're fast enough, which you're not fast enough, so don't poke unless you're fast enough. We're down to about 6 laps on gas. We're going to be pitting within the next probably 5. Man, Travis getting right up on that back bumper. Still not fast enough. He's not fast enough to pass a car at the end of the tire run. This is deja vu for Johnson because I passed him at the end of my run while he was on fresh tires at Charlotte. And I'm looking like I'm going to be able to do that here at Dover. Jimmy, deeper into the braking zone
Got a car low.
would keep you from going 3 laps down.
Inside.
There you go.
They're waving halfway. Come on, let's do this.
All right, so we're past halfway.
Clear, clear.
And
Whatever you're doing,
within the
just
next
keep
lap
doing
or two, I'm going to be pitting, obviously, because then I'll just be out of gas. So going to have to pit, but I've made it to halfway without
Ready, buddy.
pitting.
We're low on fuel.
So
I'm a little bit concerned about your tires, buddy. Keep an eye on that gauge.
that means we can do the halfway strategy.
Inside's
Caught the
clear.
wall. All right, coming in this time. Get that crew up on the wall. Here we come. Don't know where I have to start slowing down.
Inside, just looking. Don't forget, there's a speed limit on pit road.
Did
Looks
pretty
like
good,
you're running
honestly.
on empty.
Went a little too slow, but I did pretty good at getting on the pit road. And that should be the only time we have to do this. You know, actually come to pit road. So I think we got the winning strategy going on of a one-stopper. Unless they can't get this car full of fuel for some ungodly reason, but they should be able to, and that should get us out to another, 40 or so lap run. I ran long on purpose, too, just to help the fuel game. Put in more laps now so I don't have to put in as many later, was the thought process. Because now I only have to put in 35 laps to the finish instead of the 40 that I could have had I split it dead in half. So I'll have better tires. I have to save less, obviously, so I'm still confident about the strategy as long as we get no cautions. All right, so here we come back onto the track. Nobody is wrecked while trying
Doing
to
great.
complete
Nice,
my stop.
buddy. Second place is way back.
Okay, I'm merging.
Car closing on the inside.
Watch out.
Closing on the bottom. Car high. Clear up top.
Did I do the same thing I did at Charlotte? Did I pit and I'm still... Yeah, I'm still the leader.
Clear on the left.
Huh.
Clear right.
Also, the game got suddenly quieter. Like, I didn't adjust any of that. It's just quieter now. All right, gonna try to go for my fastest lap while the tires are still as good as they could get.
Keep it low. Keep it low. Right's all clear, bud.
All right. Kicking the crap out of the earlier lap, and there it is.
Good job. Really good.
22:38. Joe Nemechek, get out of the way. I know you're going for last car, but you could do it somewhere else. There we go.
We having fun out there?
All right, so
Clear on the high
I'm still
side.
going to have to save some, it looks like. But I can easily do that on this run. I'm just going to start saving actually right now. Just wanted to run a fast enough lap to, best my best lap. Or previous best now. But from there, already got the ego lap out. So, going to have to go after the trophy now. Flip the apron. It's never a smart idea to do that, especially at Dover. There's another car pitting. Wonder what that's about. How embarrassing would it be for, a guy like Jeff Gordon to short pit by like 10 or 15 laps and still come out 10 seconds behind the leader. This is like a Richard Petty performance we're putting on him here at Dover, which I guess that's fitting considering I'm going after Richard's win records. There's a little bit of wall contact. I'm scared of doing that everywhere now. After hitting the reflector wall at Charlotte, you never know where them things are hiding. Them pesky reflector walls that take your car's forward momentum and make it into horizontal momentum. You can see just how far I've extended my fuel estimation
Okay, let's use that
by
clear.
doing the whole
Keep
clutch
digging.
and coast thing, because I'm also not using any brake, but that's just a number one fuel save tactic. But you can see that the fuel indicator now says I've got like 37 laps. When I first started this run, it indicated only 31, so that's actually why I started saving, is because it displayed less. I had less laps of fuel than there was laps left in the race. So now I've actually gotten into the window where I'm easily good to make it, but I'm still going to keep doing the strategy just to make sure of it. And I've noticed at a lot of places when you start trying to save gas, you actually start going faster because, you're lifting off earlier, you're not using any brake, you're not overdriving the car, and you're just letting it do exactly what it wants to do. What the car's limit is, it'll roll itself into there. You're not pressuring it to go any faster than it can by, driving in hard and jumping on the brake pedal. You're just rolling it right in. And a track like Dover and, used to be Rockingham, places like that, also used to be Atlanta, really favored a driver who could just roll the car. Just a kiss on the wall that time. By the way, I wasn't even realizing what I was doing, but I just lapped Matt Kenseth. Never mind, I'm actually just pushing into the wall with Kenseth passing me, but you get the gist. I'm capable of lapping Matt Kenseth, who was our main championship contention. That is a statement. As I've said a bunch during this playthrough, this is the hardest the game gets. This is champion difficulty, so for that I apologize, but there's nothing else for me to do. And I guess I could just start driving worse, but what's the point in that?
Go high, go high.
And there goes Johnson, down a lap himself. I see Danica on pit road. That might affect her bid towards a chase spot. We got a bunch of cars in the pits, and you know what? I know why. It's because we're almost at lap 60, and they couldn't make it on a one-stopper. They have to pit every 30 or so laps. So, you know how in the EA games, like NASCAR Thunder 04 at Michigan, the AIs had better fuel mileage than you? This is that in reverse. Because they think they have to pit every 30 laps. I think I have to pit every 45.
Doing great.
So that's a 15-lap advantage that I have, at least over their mental state. Because I'm pretty sure they could make it. They think that they have to be so conservative. We saw that at Kansas, where the AIs are more conservative than they'd ever have to be if they wanted to win. Watch yourself. David, that was mighty stupid. Come on, Marcos. You know better than that.
Clear on the outside.
Oh, we got some nervous merging out of Menard there.
Clear on the left.
Wiggling all up in front of the pack going, 45 miles an hour faster than him. I'm not that bold, I can tell you that.
Side's clear.
Just imagine if someone put on this big of a whooping at Dover. This is even worse than what Jimmy Johnson could pull off. Just how much, the Twitterverse would be boycotting this racetrack if this actually happened.
Now, he might be able to get it done this time, Larry.
I think he
better,
will.
He's better down here.
Yeah, he's just going to go by him on the bottom side. He'll slide up in front of him off turn 2, but he'll come back.
Not quite. Not quite.
Ooh, got on the wall.
Jeez. I was not clear, but I was drifting up anyway. All right, I got to keep moves like that to a minimum. This race has almost gone completely caution-free. I'm not going to be the one to screw that up. I mean, it's sheer miracles, or sheericles, if you will, that this race has gone without a caution as it is. Dennis has taken over second, which means that Big Daddy pitted. Whoa. Okay. All right. Just get me out of that.
Too high.
Just get me out of that. There we go. I know I slid right up in front of Jeff, and he might have booted me a little bit, but
R1 back.
Dennis is now pitted, and I've put him a lap down also, so that means everybody had to go for a two-stop except for me.
No one's going to touch you out here today.
Total stupid AI logic.
3 wide. You're in the middle.
That was dumb logic on my part on that move, but when it comes to pit strategy, I'm Albert Einstein. Look at how slow Joe Nemechek is. Like 40 miles an hour faster down the straightaway. Now, it's going to break the heart of all these drivers who came down pit road twice to know that I apparently still have almost 19 laps of gas. I really don't get the two-stop strategy. I couldn't be farther away from a two-stop strategy, so I don't know what they were doing. Yeah, that's 3 laps down. Jeff Gordon, second place. We are putting it on him.
This all day.
I mean, some of it probably has to do with the Kyle Petty line that I'm running, where you just lift like in the center of the straightaway and just roll the car through, but still, there's no way that they should have had to pit more than once. It's Kansas all over again. I really don't get why the AIs are this conservative. Normally, like I was mentioning about the EA games, that the AIs are normally, capable of becoming super gods and going 2 cycles without pitting. You know, sometimes you'll get somebody winning like a NASCAR Thunder race just by not pitting when everybody else had to pit, including you. So, I don't know. Weird game. That's all I have to say. But it benefits a human such as me, ape man, who can think. When you actually know how to save gas and how to get the thing to the finish, it's really, really beneficial. Well, I know that, you know, Cyberdyne and iRobot are both real technology companies in the modern day. This gives me confidence that humans can always outthink artificial intelligence. Man, Jeff Gordon and Dennis are putting on actually a really good scrap for second, because you see the thing change every single lap. But too bad they're 3 laps behind me and about 3.5 miles behind me. Found the wall again. At least I just kissed it that time. There we go. Just pulled a big crossover on Ruderman. And look at that. That's David Reagan. You got the 2 winners of the 2013 season going side by side within the closing, 3 laps now. But turns out we're 4 laps apart, 4 miles apart. It'd be a really cool story if it was the 2 winners of the year, going for the win. But no, I'm not going to let that happen. In fact, if we got a caution, Dennis would maybe get one of his laps back, and then it'd still be 2-lap advantage. So we are decimating this field and making this race look like it's going on in 1971 instead of 2013. When's the last time the winner actually lapped the whole field? All I remember is, the last time somebody led every single lap in a race, because NBC shoves that down your throat every time you go to New Hampshire.
Keep doing it.
And by the way, the race is official now. It's a white flag. And here we come. Yet another win on the season, and by the time Dennis gets to the finish, I will have already left Delaware. That's another one.
That was unbelievable. You're just the man. I'm telling you, you're the man.
I mean, this was a whooping. And by the way, as a caution-free race, which I didn't even think was really possible in this game. I thought the AIs acted as self-serving stage breaks. There we go. Now we get to do the Polish victory lap. And you see, this race has proved that I can win a race without being an idiot completely. Because even though I almost wrecked myself like 4 or 5 times, I never caused a caution. So I can win a race legitimately. Here we go. I think we can ram the wall pretty hard. Not hard enough.
Look up, man. Great job today.
And Robby Gordon Motorsports has put the biggest whooping on a Cup Series field in probably about 4 or 5 decades at this time. So I think we've achieved our purpose. Here we go. Let's try this one. That should be it.
You're the man.
Takes like 10 or 15 hits to make the engine catch on fire.
Great job today.
Give me this one.
They're loving you for that one, man.
There we go.
You're the man.
We've done it. Right in front of the casino. And there we go. Another virtual Ryan Newman sighting, by the way, and another trophy without the diecast in the hand as well.
It doesn't get much better than that. Now let's keep it going for the next race.
That's another win, but definitely the biggest whooping we've ever put on him. It went caution-free. Hallelujah. Didn't think that was even possible in this game, but they did prove me wrong. I didn't think any of the AIs could set lap time sub 23 seconds, but the best one was a 22.98, so that's almost not good enough. But either way, I guess you could say they called my bluff, because they did do better than a 23-second lap, but not nearly good enough for my 22.38, I can tell you that. Didn't quite help that they had to pit twice, and I only had to pit once. So really beat the crap out of them on strategy, but Dennis got a hard-fought second-place finish above Jeff Gordon. Those two put on a scrap for like the last, 40 laps of the race. Dale Jr. 4th, then Edwards, Stewart, JPM, KFB, Biff, and Stenhouse rounding out your top 10. First car 4 laps down was David Reagan, 21st. So actually, all the way up to 21st was 4 laps behind us, but we put every single car in the field 3 laps down. That's like something Ned Jarrett, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, Bobby Isaac, Richard Petty, that generation of people, this is the kind of performance they'd put on a field. Doing it with a giant L on their forehead towards everybody else, but this is unprecedented for the modern day. By the way, speaking of the president, Matt Kenseth finished in 17th position. So we're going to put another pretty good point day on him. Travis Pastrana, 14th place, actually outplaced Kenseth. And last car heats up. Joe Nemechek, he's going to take the last car lead with a 42nd place finish to Travis Kvapil's 37th. And by the way, dead last, Michael McDowell, 5 laps behind us. That is insane. Imagine being literally 5 laps behind the winner and you didn't wreck. You're just that far off. And I mean, then again, imagine being second and being 3 miles behind the winner. Of any of the cars that NASCAR would confiscate, it'd be that one. All right, so that was legitimately one of the least competitive races I've ever been honored to be a part of. The advantage that we now have above second place Matt Kenseth in the points is 152 points. And yes, I put that into a calculator because I couldn't bother actually subtracting. MTJ sets third in points. Jimmy Johnson also fourth. No movement, actually, among the entire top 5. Dale Earnhardt Jr. moves up to 6th position. Dennis up to 7th. Big Daddy up to 8th position. BK down to 9th. Travis down to 10th. So he currently holds on to the last spot of the chase grid. Danica, unfortunately, drops all the way down to 16th position, but a very, very tight point battle, as you can tell, really from all the way from 18th up to 10th. David Reagan, he does pick up 1 spot in points, but he has to pass another 8 cars to be back up in wild card contention. There it is. Last car, Joe Nemechek takes over the last car point lead. Very nice. So besides that 1 top 10, he's really done his best to finish right at the back, enough to take over the last car lead. So anyway, that does it for today's edition of the Robby Gordon season mode. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. A very one-sided race, winning by 3 laps above Dennis in second. So definitely our best win of the season by that logic, by the biggest margin. Unless we pull this crap off again at Dover in the fall, I don't think that's going to be matched. But we finally got a caution-free race in. Didn't think that was going to happen all season, so I'm glad to say that we at least did it once. If we never do it again, that's all right, because we did it at least once. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got a Patreon set up as well. There's a lot more NASCAR The Game content coming up soon, and whatever else I come up with.